Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? All right, let's see what we got here. We got okay. We got 4 people in here so far. See if that improves. First one in was Crew 1351, followed by Phelan Clan Wolf, followed by Jabba the Prepper, and that's all we got in here right now. And so before I want to put the banner back up here, so any lurkers come in, they know, hey, go ahead and join us. All right. So I'm going to start at this time for the rest of the weekdays this week, and the way things are going, I'm probably going to go ahead and run it from now on. Run it at this time from now on, Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday will still be at 10 o'clock Eastern, 8 Mountain, because of other scheduled live streams around it there as well. So, all righty. So let's, let me get some stuff here moved up to the front here. There we go, over there. And let me move myself up to the corner. And there we go. All righty. And let me go ahead and take the highlight off of here since we are here. And I've already gotten the, there we go. All right, so chapter 10, gambling. November 1st, 2037, Sunday morning. For those that were here yesterday, we ended yesterday's with the telecom from Idaho with the wedding of Walt Rogers and Sarah Lightning Death Ahern. They got married on Saturday, and there was some other stuff going on, and Commander Smythe got some of the Heaven's Devils leadership to spill their guts on what the plans are, and they're still working on them, seeing they get more information out of them. But also what happened yesterday, let's see, let me go back and make sense. Yeah, okay, and last thing at night, they were Kimberly and Michael were talking outside, and Kimberly kept saying, the moon looks really big. So, all right, so let's pick it up here. Southwest Plumbing Supply in Cedar City, Utah was a dealer for central boiler outdoor water heaters. Michael had called the day before and talked to the owner. He told me what he wanted and that he would pick it up Sunday with a $500 cash bonus for the owner and any employees he needed to get them out within an hour. They agreed on meeting at 9 o'clock. They arrived at 8:45 and pulled into the parking lot. Michael was driving one of the F650 trailer haulers with a 35-foot tilt trailer on it. Actually, not a. It's not. They only have 136-foot tilt trailer. That's the one he bought when they were moving the Alpine people. Benjamin was driving another of the F650 trailer haulers with one of the 40-foot power tilt trailers, and Susan was driving her personal F650 trailer hauler with the other 40-foot power tilt trailer. Kimberly drove the 1-ton crew cab that they had modified with a GAU 20. Being Sunday, it was an easy day for the recruits. Although, hang on, I want to split that just a little bit. Make that another paragraph. Being Sunday, it was an easy day for the recruits, although the Saga recruits had asked the drill sergeants to work them still. Because of this, Captain Mark Chapman, Lieutenant, and hang on a second. and Lieutenant Linda Chapman weren't teaching the SOG and asked to go along with them on the supply run. Master Sergeant Bo Jensen from the Army and Easton Patrick, the former ROTC cadet staff sergeant, also asked to go as well. Hang on, put something on here. I want to expand on this one here, folks. Okay, let's see if I can get the proper spelling of that. Okay, let's see if I picked the right spelling. That's one of the reasons why I do love the, yeah. Yep, that was the right one. It was Larry at first. Kimberly was leery at first in letting her come, but relented. The owner had 4 employees with him. Actually, I want to switch this around. I'm going to switch this around the lot here. I'm switching this up to here. Boom, bringing that down there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I want to change this last. I just added here. All right. Yeah, but something made her relent. Okay, Southwest Plumbing, talked to that one already, did that. Okay, we're down here with this one here. The owner had 4 employees with him. They had pre-staged everything the night before, palletizing everything for quick loading. They got 10 of the CL 4030 wood-fired boilers for local residents, 4 CL 5036 wood boilers, 1 for the cabin, 1 for the Clark's cabin, CLAR, 1 for the Clark's cabin, and 2 for the Kaibab campground, 1 for the picnic campground, yeah, and 1 for the picnic campground. Hang on here, I need to put a period at that. 5 CL7 7260 wood-fired boilers. That's a lowercase. 1 for the inn and 4 for the for Camp Resurrection. They also got 30 heat exchange water heaters. 20 were 20 75 gallon and 10 250 gallon industrial units. Hang on, UNIT units. They would have gotten more of the heat exchange water heaters, but that was all. Hang on, I know you changed this here. Control C. That was all. Where was it? Control V. Southwest Plumbing Supply had. Recruit showers were going to have to be quick. The boilers were divided between the 36-foot trailer, singular, with the heat exchange water heaters. The pallets with the rolls of PEX piping fittings, tools, insulation. You change that. Hang on. PI pipe insulation. There we go. Were placed on the 8-foot decks over the fifth wheel goosenecks. On the 40-foot trailer, there were 4 bundles of 6-inch by 20 feet high pressures PVC water pipe and 2 bundles of 4-inch by 4-inch by 20 feet high pressure PVC water pipe and 6 pallets of fittings and pipe lube. Hey. The type of pipe, the reason of the 4-inch and the 4-inch and 6-inch will be made clear later on. In 30 minutes, they were loaded and on their way. Kimberly gave the owner and employees each an extra $500 for getting them on the road in 30 minutes, and told them if they could get any more heat exchange water heaters to contact them or just bring them to the Jacob Lake Inn, and they would pay them and fuel their trucks up. With the extra saddle tanks on the X650 trailer haulers, they could make 3 round trips without needing to refuel, so they headed straight back. Patrick Easton asked Kimberly if they could swing by the university and talk to the remaining ROTC cadets and answer questions that a lot of them had. I just had something pop in my head here. So we're going to see what's going to happen here. At 9:30, Kimberly and Easton Patrick arrived at the Southern Utah University ROT Center on West University Boulevard. There was a meeting of sorts in progress when recruit Easton Patrick and Kimberly walked in. At the front of the room was a gunnery sergeant and a man in a suit with a badge on a lanyard hanging around his neck. Hang on, I need to add stuff here. Okay. Chief Porter, what about the information coming out that the gang Heaven's Devils raping and killing children? One of the cadets asked. I have not been able to verify those reports, he said stiffly. What about the broadcast from Secretary Daniels of Homeland Security confirming that, and that the Heaven's Devils leaders are cannibals? Kimberly asked with her arms folded across her chest, hiding her captain's rank insignia. Fake broadcast, he said. Why are you lying? She retorted loudly. Those are not fake broadcasts. They are absolutely real and factual. Cadet, I am not a cadet, Kimberly barked loudly. I am Captain Kimberly Jackson, United States Marine Corps, 3rd Forcon Special Operations Group, and I interrogated the Heaven's Devils leaders that confessed and gave proof that they are cannibals. Chief Porter stared wide-eyed at Kimberly as she quick-time marched up to him. I repeat, why are you lying? What is your reason for hiding the truth? She smiled evilly at him. Remember, we are under martial law, and I outrank you. Chief Porter sighed. The mayor said to suppress that information. Damn it, this is the second mayor I'm going to have to arrest. No, You're going to arrest the mayor and charge him with conspiracy to defraud the people, endangering the public, and felony child endangerment and treason. She glared at him. And you will do it publicly and make sure to state that by keeping the important information of an immediate threat to the people's safety and well-being from them. He has kept them from preparing for the danger and thus endangered everyone, specifically the children. Hence the specific charge of felony child endangerment. She paused to let that sink in. Then she continued. Any other council members that voted to go along with the mayor are to be arrested as well with the same charges. Feel free to add whatever charges you can. If needed, we will return later this week to take custody of them and hold a federal trial. If they are found guilty, and they will be executed for the public's safety. Chief Porter swallowed hard. I understand. Good. Because in 4 weeks, good, comma, the good exclamation. And we change this to a capital B. Good, because within 4 weeks, 3,000 Heaven's Devils are planning on taking over the North Rim facility, and then they will, then they plan to raid surrounding towns and cities, including Cedar City, for all food supplies they can find. She took a deep breath. They will pass either through Cedar City or St. George on their way to the North Rim. If they pass through Cedar City, they might decide to raid a bit at that time. Chief Porter turned white and swallowed hard again. If they skirt the city, do not provoke them. Let them go. Contact us so we can ambush them. So there is a Marine base at Jacob Lake. Chief Porter asked. Yes, Camp Resurrection. It is a joint service training base run by the Marine Corps. We have Marine 4th Forcon, Army Rangers, Navy SEALs, Air Force PJs, Army Delta Force, specifically G Squadron Troop 3, and of course the Marine 3rd Forcon Special Operation Group, the Reapers. The last three are Tier 1 operators. Holy shit, Chief Porter exclaimed. You served? Airborne, two tours. Thank you for your service, Kimberly said, very politely, surprising Chief Porter. No, thank you, Captain. Get officers you trust and go make your arrest. She then handed her sat phone. She handed him her sat phone number in case you need us to bring a U.S. federal marshal and troops back to troops to back you up. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, he said, and quickly left. Now, Gunny, I believe your cadets have some questions for me. The Gunny smiled. Sir, yes, sir, he snapped. Kimberly turned to face the ROTC cadets. Questions? Was that fun, people? The cadets were unsure whether they should speak or not. Then one in a Marine MCCUU and what Kimberly guessed was the youngest one there, slowly raised her hand. Captain, are you Juby Chan, the ninja girl? Kimberly chuckled and dropped her head for a moment, smiling. Looking at the young cadet. Rank, name, age. Cadet Private Laurel Peterson, 16. 16, huh? Let me guess, you skipped the grade, took AP classes, and had a 4.2 grade point average. 2 grades and 4.4, sir. She pulled herself up straighter. Well, Cadet Private Patterson, to answer your question, yes. Laurel raised her hand again. Yes, Cadet Private Patterson. Is it true you have killed over 150 heaven devils with just your katana? Her voice starting to trail off quietly. 156, 260 total so far. The rest were this. She tapped her father's CAR-15, and this. She tapped her pistol. Gasps came from most of the cadets, and no, I don't have it with me. Another cadet in Marine MCCUU raised her hand. Yes. Cadet Staff Sergeant Danielle Morgan, 18. And your question, can you clarify basic training at Camp Resurrection? We've heard that there are 2 types. Excuse me. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Basic Marine boot camp is 13 weeks. The SOGs will be 16 weeks. Then we'll move on to intermediate training for 8 months. That ends the first year. Those that pass will be placed in stage 1 advanced training. Those that don't pass intermediate training will be given the opportunity to retrain or transfer to a regular MOS. Stage 1 advanced training is 6 months and so much harder than intermediate training. It is medical training plus. Those that pass will be placed in stage 2 advanced training, which is 5.5 months and harder still. This is survival, evasion, resistance, and escape, aka SERE, TRAINI, SERE training. Those that pass will be placed in stage 3 advanced training, which is 3 months and has a lot of math, geometry, trigonometry. That's sniper school and forward observer training. Another hand shot up, and Kimberly pointed to him. Army Cadet Corporal Jack Pierce, 19. And your question, what is this special unit going to be doing? Well, I'm sorry, I was watching on the side here. I saw the numbers go up and the numbers go back down to 4, go up and back down to 4. So we have a bunch of how do I yeah, we have a bunch of trolls coming in, taking a look and bugging out because they see, oh, a live stream, maybe I can screw with them, but they can't make a comment unless they join or unless they subscribe. And if they subscribe, then they can be tracked. All right, enough of that for now. Primary objective is deleting the enemy without them knowing we are there until it is too late for them to do anything about it and we are already leaving the area. Hopefully, most of the time, this will be from a mile and a half or more away, Kimberly said. She noticed some of the wicked smiles from some of the Marine cadets. Other times, we'll be doing ninja close quarters killing and even some close quarters rescuing of prisoners. For these types of operations, we'll be using 10 millimeter pistols. She tapped hers with suppressors, 10 millimeter carbines with suppressors, even compound bows, crossbows, and blade weapons. We will master and use conventional and unconventional warfare to eliminate these threats to our families. Another male in Marine MCCUU raised up their hand. Kimberly nodded to him. Marine Cadet Staff Sergeant Thomas Marl, 19. And your question? We have heard that your Saga is mostly 16 and 17-year-olds. Why 16 and 17-year-olds? One reason is for the most part, 16 and 17-year-olds are maturing enough and mentally flexible to deal with the realities of this lifestyle. There will be aberrations that are brought in into the training, both older, such as Recruit Patrick and PFC Holland, and younger, such as Sure Shot and Phoenix, and the twins, the wild ones. Another reason is because their their bodies are still developing and can handle and can adapt to the strength building regimen immediately, and therefore build muscle, stamina, resistance much faster than an adult without adding as much bulk and still be able to stay extremely flexible. Recruit Patrick and PFC Holland are having to work harder and use limbering exercises as well. PFC Holland is 24. Next question. Laurel raised her hand again. Yes, Cadet Private Patterson. How many openings are in the SOG? There are 8 empty racks. Can I join? She asked quickly. 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 Kimberly was about to answer, then she noticed that Laurel was looking at the gunny. Kimberly turned around and looked closer at the gunny and read his name. D. Patterson. A light went on. How many children do you have, Gunny? Shocked, the Gunnery Sergeant Patterson was slow to respond. 3. And Laurel is 2. June is 13. George is 23. Where is George? He's serving in the Marine 1st Logistics Group. When was the last time you heard from Sergeant Patterson? Kimberly said, realizing who his son was. Gunnery Sergeant Patterson's mouth dropped open. How? I will tell you this, when I get back to base, I'm putting him in the arena with the wild ones and have them beat him black and blue for not telling me he had family in Cedar City, Kimberly growled. Please don't. I told him never request special treatment. Kimberly stopped and looked at the floor. Was your wife in the Corps? Yes, until she got pregnant with June. Rank and MOS? Staff Sergeant 0171. Good. We have a spot for her. Owner Brent. What does she do now? She's an accountant, but the company stopped communicating with the teleworking employees. Is this your full-time gig? Yes, but I also work part-time as a supervisor for a security company. Vehicles, 2 Suburbans. Trailers, 2. A 36-foot travel trailer and a 36-foot toy hauler with 2 snowmobiles and 2 ETVs. If the power were to go out, what would you do? Or rather, where would you go? Kimberly smiled knowingly. Can she re-up? Great answer. How long would it take you to withdraw from Cedar City? And I froze again. Oh, and we got someone else came in. All right. A couple days. Contact us the day before so we can send an escort. Oh, and call her now, Kimberly said. Then she looked back to Laurel. The answer is yes. The new questions, how soon? Probably several days. Just then, an Army Master Sergeant came into the room. Everyone, there is a presidential announcement. Hang on, I need to fix this here. Presidential announcement going live in a couple minutes. He walked over and turned on the TV. An image of the presidential seal appeared when the streaming banner crossed the bottom with the streaming banner across the bottom. This is the national broadcast via all VHS TV channels, most AM and FM radio channels, most ham radio call channels. This broadcast will begin shortly and repeated. And it repeated. A countdown clock was going in the upper left corner. All right, everyone, have a seat. He looked over at Kimberly with confusion, not recognizing her. I'll remain standing. This should be about Heaven's devils. He opened his mouth to question her when he spotted the captain rank on her uniform. Yes, Captain, he replied. When the countdown timer reached 0, the image changed and a man appeared at the podium in front of the DHS seal. This is William Daniels, Secretary of Homeland Security. We spoke about this last week, Kimberly said. A banner appeared reading William Daniels, Secretary of Homeland Security. Secretary Daniels cleared his throat and began. On November 1st, the President issued Presidential Security Directive AR-003, which states, members of the motorcycle club/gang known as Heaven's Devils are no longer citizens of the United States of America and have no rights to due process. Furthermore, they are to be considered enemy combatants and treated as such. In addition, the Geneva Convention does not apply to them. They are to be killed on sight unless there is a need and likelihood that needed information can be extracted from them. Afterwards, they are to be executed. The United States military are to aid all local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies in exterminating Heaven's Devils from American soil. This directive has been approved by Congress and upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court. And the person just was in here for a minute, bounced. He looked up at the camera. We have discovered the plans of Heaven's Devils, and it is so hideous that all branches of the government agreed that this action had to be taken. The president has asked me to thank those remarkable citizens who brought this plan to light. First off is Sheriff Walt Rogers, and a person known to the American natives as Lightning Death. Yesterday, Walt resigned as sheriff and accepted the position of chief marshal in the newly reorganized federal marshals. Also, after their wedding, Lightning Death has accepted the position of deputy federal marshal. All right, Sarah, Kimberly shouted, followed by, excuse me. The president would also like to thank two individuals whose videos have inspired so many to get prepared. Juby Chen, the Ninja Girl, and Archer, the Super Scout, whose team has discovered the true extent of the insidious plan of the Heaven's Devils. He paused for a moment before continuing. I would like to add my personal thanks, Kimberly, Michael, and Eleanor, and the rest of your team. You have done a great job. Kimberly and Michael are now captains in the U.S. Marine Corps. 3rd Forcon are in command of its Special Operations Group, the Reapers. Again, thank you, Walt, Lightning, Kimberly, Michael, and Eleanor, for all you have done and are still doing. Good afternoon, everyone. The broadcast ended. The cadets quickly stood up and turned around and stared at Kimberly. A Marine cadet raised her hand. Yes. Marine Cadet Corporal Mackenzie Alexander, 19. And your question? What else do we need to know? The barracks are co-ed. Everyone stiffened. But the showers and heads are not. PT starts at 0530 with a full gear run. 10 pounds. In 60 days, your packs will be 50 pounds, and you'll complete the 10-mile run in 1 hour. Michael and I and a few others will be doing 15 miles, and if we beat you, you will do it again instead of lunch. She handed her car 15 to recruit Patrick. And you'll be doing these. She bent over and started doing handstand push-ups in 4 months. She lifted a hand, and these in 8 months. She put one finger down and lifted the other hand, and put it back down, and put it back down with one finger. These are not required, but if you do 30, I'll waive the no sex rule for you and the person of your choice. She proceeded to do 40, then lowered her feet and stood up. Another male cadet raised his hand. Yes. Marine Cadet Corporal Jason Smith, 19. Your question? There's a no sex rule? Absolutely. No sex unless you are married. If you are having sex now, you will stop before you report. If you break the rule, you get a dishonorable discharge. He looked wide-eyed at a female cadet, and she looked back at him for several seconds, and then she spoke. We need to stop anyways, especially if we're going to be doing that much exercise. Kimberly laughed. Every time Michael or I start feeling horny, we go for a 1 hour run, and if that doesn't stop it, we exercise till it does. Now you know how I got so strong. Marine Cadet Private Opal Channing, 17, I'm in. Marine Cadet Staff Sergeant Ellen Channing, 19, I'm in too. One more opening at first, she added quickly. Marines, besides Laurel, who has family locally? None of the Marines raised their hands. Strange, I would have thought that several would have families locally. Given, hang on here, correct that. Given that the Marine ROTC program just started this semester. Gunnery Sergeant Patterson spoke up. I can answer that. Most of them transferred from University of Utah in Salt Lake, and the Naval ROTC program here. The rest came from 4 other universities. Okay, what about Army? Any of you have families locally? About 3/4 raised their hands. Master Sergeant, man, be brutally honest with your cadets. Of course, if you can get home to your families, go now, today. I'm held by a non-disclosure not to discuss top secret information, so I cannot tell you why. Go home and arm up. Everyone, including the Marines, stiffened up. Those with families that are not close enough for you to get home to get those whose families are not close enough for you to get home to them, enlist. I will try to get Lieutenant Colonel Houston to set up an ROTC training for those of you that have 1 year to go. She turned to the Master Sergeant and read his name. What about you, Master Sergeant Grimes? It's just the wife and I. Our children are enlisted or married. Kimberly stepped up close to him and whispered, I would suggest that you strongly get those that can go home to go home and the rest to come to Camp Resurrection ASAP. And you come too. Understood. Hang on. Master Sergeant Grimes said, okay, we just lost another lurker. Oh. Stepping back, she said in normal voice, we have 12 Army NCOs that have re-enlisted. Another who re-upped as a Marine Master Sergeant, and a lieutenant who re-upped as a Marine Captain, as well as Captain Mark Chapman and Lieutenant Linda Chapman of Delta Force G Squadron Troop 3, who are training the SOG to be level 1 operators. Their son is in the SOG. Looking back at the Marine cadets. SOG spot. All the remaining cadets and 3 Army cadets raised their hands. Kimberly pointed to one of the Army cadets. His hand was up first. Army Cadet Corporal Brian Taggart, 19. I'll see if Pops can get more racks built. If he can, it'll mean lukewarm showers and shaving water. Mackenzie Alexander raised her hand, and Kimberly's sat phone rang. One moment, people. Captain Jackson. Yes, Chief Porter. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And what did he say then? He did what? And the other council members? Excellent. Get that information out on your EWS ASAP. Good luck. We'll be in touch. Kimberly put her sat phone away. Period. Oh, hang on. My eyes are getting a little blurry here. Because all of a sudden, I can't see the number of people on the screen there. And of course, my glasses are dirty. It's been a couple days since I cleaned them. Ah, all right. Hang on. Let me get all the dust and oil from my eyebrows off these glasses. Oh, yeah. That's getting a little bit better. This up a little farther here. Something my mom used to tease me about when I was a kid. Actually, she more complained about because I had it and she didn't. My eyelashes are really long, and she used to complain that I had such nice long eyelashes, and they were full, and she had to put makeup on her eyelashes to make them stand out. Of course, my brothers had the same thing. All right, we got a couple more people coming in. Hey, how's it going? Now I can see. Oh yes, now I can read. All right, and they went out just as fast. Yeah, they saw they couldn't comment unless they were members. So those were definitely trolls. All right, let's scroll up here. Uh, After they watched Secretary Daniels reading the presidential directory, and as soon as Chief Porter informed them that I ordered him to arrest them, the mayor shot two council members who strong-armed him into lying to everyone, and then shot himself. Well, Master Sergeant Grimes muttered softly. Kimberly gave a little nod. Now, where were we? Are we expected to shave our pits and legs? Kinsey Alexander asked. Only if you want to, Kimberly smiled. Guys, you will shave your face, however. You will shave your face. However, your legs and your pits and legs are also optional. They all nodded. A couple of the girls giggled, struggled to suppress chuckles. Now I only have room in my truck. Now I only have room for 4 in my truck, Kimberly said. We have another MTVR 6x6 cargo truck you can take, Master Sergeant Grimes said. Just then the power went out. And 10 seconds later, it came back on. No one really reacted to it. How often is this happening? How often is that happening? Kimberly asked. Oh, about once a day last week, but now it's coming more often the last couple of days, Master Sergeant Grimes said. You are, hang on, I need this. You are seriously on the clock, Kimberly growled. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Oops. Undo. Control F7, not Control 7. Insert. There we go. Change that. Kimberly growled earnestly. I would say you have less than a week until it goes out permanently, maybe a couple days. That's when all hell breaks loose and the riots start. Everyone gasps. Those coming with me, get your gear now. Hurry. Kimberly turned to Gunnery Sergeant Patterson. You may need to step up your packing. He nodded, and as he was already on pulling out his phone. Master Sergeant Grimes said, honey, pack the food and uniforms. We're going to the Marine base ASAP. The power is going to go down permanently soon, very soon. Those that are going home, pack now and get going, Kimberly said sternly. If you wait, you may not make it home. Army cadets that don't want to join the SOG, your fellow Army cadets are in the regular boot camp. You're welcome to join them. As the cadets left quickly to get their belongings, Kimberly pulled out her sat phone and hit a speed dial number. General, I'm at SUU ROTC, and the power's going out a couple times a day. I have 16 more SOG recruits and 10 more regular recruits, a Marine gunnery sergeant and an Army master sergeant. I'm going to need 8 more racks in the SOG and 18 more for the regular barracks. We may need to split the regular barracks into 2. Yes, sir. They're all coming or going home. We need to bring all in. We will bring all ROTC equipment and vehicles. We will hit mattress stores on the way back. Yes, sir. I'm going to call them next. Very good. We'll see you in about 3 hours. Goodbye. Master Sergeant Grimes, General Marquis said to make sure we take all equipment and vehicles. How long will it take to get everything loaded? Kimberly asked. Once everyone is back, 20 to 30 minutes. Good. What'd your wife say? She smarted me when I told her about some of the recruits going to the base. She started packing the trailers. Was she Army? One hitch, then reserve. Nurse. How many vehicles does the ROTC have? 3 Humvees, 3 MTVR 6x6 cargos trucks, 2 MTVRs 4x4 short bed cargo trucks, 2 LATVSs. How quick can we get them here? 5 minutes from where they're stored. Are they fueled? They will be, so make that 10 minutes. And we got 8 people in here. 8, everyone. Please hit the thumbs up and say hi to somebody in the chat. Howie's here, Food Forest Permaculture. So everybody else, follow Howie's example and say hi. Kimberly hit the speed dial. Hit the speed dial button. Lieutenant Pusser, have you left yet? Good. Hang tight. The ROTC is packing all equipment and personnel, and we will have 10 vehicles. Once loaded, we are hitting the Walmart near you for more mattresses and bedding. All the twins and fulls they have, and at least double that in bedding. Plain colors if they run out of white. Oh, one more thing. Let Sergeant Patterson know I'm pissed at him. Not letting us know his family is in Cedar City. They're packing as fast as they can, and his sister's joining my SOG. We'll see. Hang on, I need to put a quote on. We'll see you as soon as we are loaded up. They had that much in stock? Cool. My wife says we'll be ready to go by the time I get home and hook up the trailer. Gunnery Sergeant Patterson said, oh, and Laurel asked if she could ride with you. Well, that's up to you and your wife. Kimberly froze and thought, what's wrong? Oh, nothing. I was just thinking what I would do in 20 years with my children if someone asked me that question. It was an eye-opening thought. I'm definitely starting my kids' training at 3. Get your wife and stuff. In a minute, it was just Kimberly and recruit Eastern Patrick left in the ROTC center. CENT center. Kimberly looked at her and smiled. Fallout recruit. Question, Captain. Go ahead. How do you do it? Elaborate. You seem so at ease talking to subordinates and superiors alike. It's like nothing phases you. You are so confident. How did you learn that? My mom and dad started me out that way. When my dad started my Marine training, my mom was very worried. I remember her telling him so. She worried that I would get hurt. He said that I would. I would fall off my bike. I would stumble if I took ballet. I would get cut working with wood. I would trip ice skating. But if they could teach me that I could overcome pain, that I wouldn't have to let falling down define me, that I could always get back up and try again, that I would get better each time until I was the best. But most important, that would have to make me that they would have to make me understand that they were behind me, not behind me, 100%. Then I knew I could do it. Damn, your parents are so cool. Kimberly thought for a moment and said, I never thought of that from someone else's perspective. I guess they really are cool. And everybody else boogied out. We're just back down to, looks like we're back down to our original 4. So, I guess they really are cool. Did they ever tell you that you were making a life mistake? Once. Well, several times about one thing until my mom realized I was right. What was that? When I fell in love with Michael at first talk, Kimberly sighed hard. I still wish that she would have trusted me at the beginning. Michael and I would have been married already. How long ago would you have gotten married? I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. Then you wouldn't have had your leverage to stop the co-ed shower thing. Maybe, maybe not. I think I would have come up with something, maybe thrown a divorce at sure shot. She would have broken for that, too. Yes, I believe she would. She started to sit on the couch. Don't do that. We have time, so exercise. Kimberly fell forward and landed in the forward leaning rest position and started doing push-ups. Easton grabbed the couch and pulled it out from the wall, turning it around. She put her feet up on the back of the couch and started doing push-ups too. Good idea, transferring more weight to your arms and building muscle faster. After a couple minutes, Kimberly asked, can I ask you a personal question? Sure. Your name, can you explain it? Easton laughed. You're going to love this. My mom's family's from Easton, England. It is a village in southern Kesteven district in Lincolnshire. We are hang on here. We are descendants of Sir Henry Cholmeley, I can't pronounce it, who bought Easton Hall in 1592. And since I was the firstborn, guess who got the name? Hey, at least they didn't stick you with Henry or Cholmeley. Thank you. I didn't consider that. Now I prefer Easton. Kimberly moved to an adjustable pull-up device and adjusted it to her height. This is a cool setup, she said as she started pull-ups. Is there a cordless drill around here? Easton moved to the other one. The master sergeant has one. A couple minutes later, Kimberly heard cars drive up too. She dropped and walked walked out to the parking lot. She recognized 5 of the Army cadets that had family locally. When she questioned them, they told her that one or both their parents were former military and they would re-enlist along with their cadet if they could come to the base. 4 of them had a travel trailer or Class B RV. Two of the RVs had toy haulers. Kimberly told them to tell their parents that they had 15 minutes to get to the ROTC building. They needed to bring their old uniforms if they had them and winter clothes. A few minutes later, the Grimes and Patterson families were arriving. Several of the Marine cadets had their vehicles. Kimberly told them that if it wasn't 4-wheel drive, to leave it. They'd captured several. They had captured pickups to spare. Those that were leaving their cars to put their gear in another vehicle. Master Sergeant Grimes went inside and retrieved the keys for the ROTC vehicles. He also grabbed a cordless drill that Kimberly asked for. Then he grabbed 10 cadets and they went to get the ROTC vehicles. Gunnery Sergeant Patterson had the rest of the cadets start hauling gear out of the building, and Kimberly removed 3 of the pull-up stations and parts and were adding them to the gear to be staged. They finished staging when Master Sergeant Grimes returned with the ROTC vehicles. And we have another person in here. Hey, how's it going? As Master Sergeant Grimes and the cadets pulled in, the 5 local families pulled up too. The one family that didn't have a trailer was an Army Captain Roger Bennett and his wife, a Marine Lieutenant Sandra Bennett. They had their 16-year-old daughter with them in their overloaded excursion. Kimberly had them transfer everything on top of the excursion to the back of one of the cadets' pickups. The 2 MTVR 4x4 short bed cargo trucks were empty. So she had Easton and 3 cadets drive them to the Walmart to pick up the mattresses and bedding that Lieutenant Pusser had purchased. 7 minutes later, Pusser called that they had arrived, and Kimberly said that they were leaving now. They caught up to Pusser and his group coming on the freeway as they fell in behind them. 2 hours and 28 minutes later, they were pulling into Camp Resurrection. All right. After a late lunch, Michael had the SOG reorganize their racks to accommodate the new additional racks. RAC racks, which happened to include 12 extra new ones. All right. Okay. All right. Let me hit some water up here. So. All right. We're just checking some information here. All right. The 5 military families were given spaces with the Cooper Group ground, and one of the RVs that was recovered from the Heavens Devils and cleaned and cleaned. There we go. All right, let me try reading that one again now that I edited it a little bit. The 5 military vehicles of the 5 military families were given spaces with the Cooper Group at the picnic and campground area, and one of the RVs that was recovered from the Heavens Devils and was cleaned. Hang on, I guess I got it. One of the RVs that was discovered in Heaven's Devils was cleaned and was provided to Captain Bennett's family with new bedding. Okay, now it looks right. Bob was able to buy 10 more racks from the manufacturer in Fredonia, and the sawmill chain and carpenters were able to make 14 more. Ugh. After a late lunch, Michael had the SOG reorganize their racks to accommodate the initial racks, which happened to include 12 extra new ones. Kimberly was introducing the 7 families from Cedar City to General Marquess, Colonel Houston, Lieutenant Colonel Houston, Major M. Cooper, Major D. Cooper, Captain Robinson, Captain Chapman, and Lieutenant Chapman. Major Holmes and Captain Hiller decided to tag along for fun, as they put it. Hey, that's the way PJs are, you know. Oh, we're going to tag along for fun. When Kimberly explained that the Chapmans were assisting in the training of the SOG at the Vice President's personal request, eyes widened more than they did when she said that they were Delta Force G Squadron Troop 3. When she introduced Holmes and Hiller, Captain Henry Farrell and Captain Claire Farrell came to attention, saluted them. Then Henry spoke. When Claire and I were shot down and wounded, it was PJs that came in and saved us. Thank you for your commitment. It means more than you know to hear that and see you serving, Major Holmes said. Just then, First Sergeant Carlos walked up carrying a laptop and a folder of papers. Gentlemen. Carlos, General Marquess began. You can blame Kimberly for your extra work. But I did bring you some help, Kimberly said with an impish smile. How's that? Staff Sergeant Connie Patterson, 0171. Thank the gods, Carlos exclaimed. Finally, some help. Kimberly goes and doubles the recruit numbers by starting her SOG 6 months early, then doubles it again with the ROTC. That was Hero Maker that started that. I just finished it, Kimberly smiled. Looks of confusion were directed at Kimberly, and she smiled. Hero Maker is Cora Spencer's boot and SOG code name. She was the one who started the real live Juby Chan Ninja Girl thing with her YouTube channel. Kimberly blushed a little. She made me a pop teen icon. You're my hero, Juby, Lena Charles chimed in. Mine too, Betsy Benedict, Tori Mann, and Cindy Tobin all added at the same time. Warrant Officer Evan Charles looked at his daughter and said, explain. Well, At one of her karate tournaments, her opponent was being very rude and disrespectful and mean because of her eye. And then said he was going to punish her for trying to compete. She obliterated him, and then his teammate made a challenge. Her teammate challenged her to an honor match for hurting the first guy so bad. She taught him a lesson too. What about her eye? It was damaged in a junior high school chemistry accident, Lena said. Kimberly reached into her blouse pocket and pulled out an alcohol, cleaned her hands, and pocketed the used wipe. Then she turned away, pulled out the contact lens for her shaded contact, carefully removed the contact and put it in the case and put it away. Then she put the case back in her blouse pocket and withdrew one of the black eye patches and put it on. Then turned back to the families. Gasps came from the parents and PJs. But how are you allowed to serve without an eye? Major Holmes asked. She has her eye, the 4 teens stated together. My eye became super light sensitive. What I took out was a contact lens. The contact is like a really dark sunglass lens. The patch has micro holes that limit the amount of light that hits my eye and allows me to see just fine, Kimberly explained with a smile. You'll see it hand-to-hand training, and especially during night training and runs. She doesn't need night vision gear, Michael added. Everyone, including myself, is required to take training daily. Spouses and children are encouraged to join one of the classes either on base or up the road at the Kaibab Camper Village Maintenance Building. That's where us older officers go for PT, General Marquest added with a smile. Commander Smythe, Nora, walked up and held out a folder of papers and a thumb drive. Final notes and recordings of the current interrogations, she said as she handed it to Sampson. Sack Davies and General Donaldson will want an update. Her voice had a quiver in it that Kimberly hadn't heard since her first session with Robert Brown. What is it, Eleanor? Kimberly asked. I need a break. I need to break something, Nora said in her British accent. Her British accent strained. What'd they say? Richie Charles said his favorite thing was boys and girls under 8. She clenched her fist so hard that blood dripped from the gloves. Is that yours or his? His and Paul Gomez. Who's Richie Charles? Major Holmes asked. He's one of the national leaders for Heaven's Devils, Kimberly answered. Then added, we can't let Tiffany Martin or Heather James know about this. They also said that they took Tiffany and Heather as wags so no one would suspect they preferred children. Nora growled out of burning hate in her voice. After I clean up, can we spar? She asked, looking at Kimberly. Will I need pads? Quite definitely. The accent back in full. A quad ETV pulled up, and Plague in her red mask got out and walked over to Nora. The carcasses have been disposed of in the burn pit. Thank you. Nora replied. Okay, all right. All right. I need to go take a break. I got to take care of something. I'll be right back. So, let me put that in. There we go. So let me see. Let me roll this up a little bit. All right, there we go. You can go ahead and read ahead a little bit if you can see it good enough. I'll be right back. All right. So um, this morning I was so busy going to Idaho Falls getting stuff. I didn't. I didn't eat breakfast, and so like I went to Home Depot, got another spray thing for putting stuff on the for spraying the dormant spray on the orchard trees. Then I went to Sam's Club and I got 15 pounds of bottom round. and some milk and some other stuff. Then I went to Winco, got some bread for the and uh, forget the brand of sliced ham for the grandsons. They're really into that right now. Then I went to Walmart and got some of the big containers of the Simply Natural peanut butter. You know, the stuff that doesn't have high fructose corn syrup for the grandkids, and got some more canning jars and stuff. Then I went to Sam's Club, got some boxes of pizza for my daughter for the grandkids, and I got some other stuff over there as well. But since I've been sucking down this year to stay awake on an empty stomach, yeah, I had to get some bread and butter. All right, let's get back to the reading. Crawler offered a deal after you left for a bullet to the back of his head. He said they have 2 years worth of food for 5,000 gathered in Vegas, and they are hoping to get at least 6 worth in the next 3 weeks. Holy crap, Kimberly exclaimed. Control, Captain, Sampson said sternly, but I agree. Yes, sir, Kimberly responded. That means with what we and the locals can raise, we'll have enough food for 4 or 5 years or more for both Fredonia and Kanab. Then we must capture those trucks intact, Sampson said very seriously. I shall go clean up and I'll see you all for supper, Nora said. Light supper for sparring? Light on general principles, but yes, for sparring too. She walked to the quad, ETV. Can you give me a ride to my quarters, Plague? Sure thing, boss. She hurried over and hopped in. As they drove away, Captain Roger Bennett asked, "What's with the masks?" Kimberly, Sampson said. Kimberly cleared her throat to get everyone's attention. Commander Smythe was stationed on the aircraft carrier Prince Richard and was caught in an aviation fuel fire. The president has ordered that no one is to try to get her to remove her mask. After fire, she was reassigned to MI6. Later, she and several other agents, plural, were tasked to Operation Shared Strength. That's where Michael, Captain Moore, and I met her. She is an expert in interrogation. Plague is one of the 7 ladies of hell. They're on her team. The masks are for the interrogations and personal security. Once this is over, they wish to be able to return to a normal life. 7 ladies of hell? Claire Farrell asked. Kimberly smiled evilly, and I looked and beheld a pale horse, and her name that sat upon him was Eleanor Smythe, and she is the angel of death, and all hell followed with her. And power was given over her over the whole earth to kill with hammer and sword, and with lightning and soldering iron, and with death's stare, and with all hell, and with the beasts of the earth and the fires of heaven to devour all she slays. Claire blinked, as did several others. That is from the Book of Interrogations and Lamentations, as recorded by the Red Assassin. A mischievous grin crept across Kimberly's face. The ladies are all hell. They are famine, pestilence, plague, pain, misery. They refer to themselves as the doctors. The last 2 are the Banshee and the Doulahan. Oops. Comments. So I missed some comments. Okay, what do we got here? We got Holistic Heritage Homestead is in the house. All right, cool. And let's see here. The last two are the Banshee and the Doulahan. I'm afraid to ask. The Doulahan? The Doulahan is the Irish demon from which the legend of the Headless Horseman comes from, Kimberly answered. A female that carries its head in one hand and a whip made of the spines of its victims in another. Damn, I might spill everything if they had me tied up, Lieutenant Manny Tobin said with a shiver. One last item. There was something you wanted to ask me, Lena Charles. Your SOG, what are the requirements? And Lena's parents stiffened. Originally, the requirements was 16 and 17-year-olds, Kimberly said. But now with the number of ROTC cadets wanting to join, I'm raising the cutoff to 20. But your question is about the lower age limit, I bet. I'm allowing certain arborations in. Hang on, I need to put that in there. Certain arborations in. There are 3 younger so far. The one old, no, it's not one older, 2 older. Sorry, I got to fix that. TW, 2 older. 1, Lance Corporal, who is 24, Lance Corporal Holland, who is 24. And hang on, I forgot to see what Easton's age is. So hang on a second while I bring up the data for Easton's age here. Easton is 20. Okay, there we go. Yes, this is how I track everybody's age, rank, all 300 people in the novel. Hang on, I want to change this around a little bit here. And all right, let me look back at that, see what I got here on her for that. That is, shoot. Easton, shoot, what was her last name again? Easton Patrick. Let me see if I got this right here. FC Patrick. Control F. Nope, just run result. Control F. 14. All right, let me go back up. Okay, just referring to her as recruit. Okay. Control C, go down. Recruit 24. And that's got to come up over there. Who is TWEN, who is 20. There are 3 younger. Hang on. Hang on. I got information here. I gotta bounce the information around and get it straightened out here real quick here. 24. All right. Never mind. I'm not naming all the younger ones on it. So two of the younger ones are my cousin, who is 15, and Michael's sister, who is 13 and a half. 13, Eunice Charles exclaimed. As Michael says, she may be 13 physically, but she's 25 mentally. At times, Albert said. True, but she's one of our best snipers with 42 kills, Kimberly said with a smile. And she uses a 72 caliber rifle to do it, Nola added. Looking at Lena, Kimberly asked, "Why were you asking about the SOG?" She scrunched up her face in anticipation of getting yelled at, and asked, "Can I join the SOG?" What? Her mother. Hang on, I gotta make that fully bold and accented. There we go. What? Yelled her mother. I thought you were gonna ask her for her autograph. No, Kimberly said quickly and softly. Not without your parents' permission. And them meeting the SOG members first. She smiled at Lena's parents in their barracks after dinner. Toryman spoke up. I saw a video that you got the president to change the requirements to join the military. It is now 16 and 17-year-olds only have to have their high school diploma to enlist, not parents' permission. True, but I have to approve all that join the SOG. And do you really want to go against your parents' wishes? Tori turned to her mother. Mom, may I please have your blessing? Yes, Staff Sergeant Julie Mann said with a partial smile. Dad? Yes, I'm not sleeping on the couch for the. Julie backhanded him playfully in the stomach. Goof. Tori threw her arms around both of them for a quick hug, turned back to Kimberly. Recruit men reporting for training. Then Candy Tobin spoke. Mom, you're going no matter what I say, so work hard and learn what you need to survive. She hugged her mom. You're the best. Then she looked at her father. I know it's not the Army, but at least they have Delta Force helping with the training. He nodded to her. I'd be happy even if you joined the Navy. Don't say it, Colonel Houston said quickly. I wasn't going to say it. We have naval personnel here now, and I don't want to make them cry, Kimberly protested. Hang on here. There we go. What's this about? General Marquest asked. Captain Jackson eats Navy SEALs for breakfast, Captain Robinson said, deadpan. Kimberly turned to him. Only because they're magically delicious. Lieutenant Sandra Bennett turned and put her hands on her husband's shoulders and her head against it as she busted out laughing. Gunnery Sergeant and Staff Sergeant Patterson tried and failed to contain their laughter. The others joined in as Kimberly put on her best innocent face. What? They are? And the 8 we had in here is now down to 4. Betsy Bennett, figuring this was her best shot, turned to her mother. Mom, I want to be that tough and strong. Can she train me? Hang on. I got Betsy Bennett. Hang on. I got to get her age in here. Bennett. Lois Bennett. Come on. Where's Betsy? Betsy, there's Betsy is 16. Okay. So she's 16, so she's proper. Okay. Sandra looked at her daughter for a moment, then said, yes, she can, but we are still going to talk to the others at their barracks. Betsy broke into an ear-to-ear grin, spun around to face Kimberly. Recruit Bennett ready for training. Recruit Tobin is ready as well. Kimberly keyed up her radio. Green Archer, Red Assassin. In a moment, she heard, "Go, Red. I have 4 more." After several seconds of silence, Michael said, "Names? Betsy Bennett, 16. Save one space for one possible space for Lena Charles, 15. Tori Mann, 17. Candy Tobin, 17. Copy, we'll put them in the order." "You're pretty sure we're going to let Lena join," Eunice said. "Nope, I'm just saving a spot just in case you let her." All right. Evening at dinner. Kimberly stopped the SOG outside the chow hall and told them what was happening with the 4 parents coming to talk to them later. Then she went in and talked to the ROC recruits whose parents were visiting the SOG barracks. I don't think I need to have that capitalized. The SOG barracks. And told them to be there. One of their friends asked if that was an order, and Kimberly said it was, and only those 4 were to come. Then Kimberly went to the parents and told them they could continue to eat in the chow hall, or they could pull food from supplies and fix some or all of their meals in their trailers or RVs. The SOG finished eating first and proceeded in a silent, orderly manner through the garbage, and compost and wash containers, and then outside. Sandra leaned close to her husband. "Last in, first out." They inhaled it like it was the only food they'd seen all week, Roger agreed. "Yeah," Army Captain Henry Farrell commented. "Did you see how shocked the ROTC cadets were? And their DIs were timing them," Army Lieutenant Tobin added. "High speed, low drag," Marine Lieutenant Heather Craig spoke up. "Huh?" Several of the non-military spouses said. "High speed, low drag," she repeated. "No wasted times or frills." She gave a slight shudder. It's unnerving to see how fast that group has come together, even with new members being added every couple of days. Their senior DIs are First Sergeant Gwen Judd, Army, Master Sergeant Ricky Potter, Marines. They were DIs when they retired. I talked to them and confirmed what I suspected. This group was tighter on day 1 than any they ever trained by week 3. They are a family and have each other's backs. But they always refer to Juby Chan and defer to Juby Chan and Super Scout. If your teens are joining, they will have friends for life. She finished a little sad. "What's wrong?" Sandra asked. "Kimberly wouldn't let my daughter join because I re-enlisted. She asked her to stay home and help her father. Now she's missing out." "You want her to join?" Eunice asked. "Hell yeah." She straightened up. I want all of that for her." Suddenly she stood up. "And I need to get it for her." Marine Lieutenant Heather Craig felt something she had forgotten for several years as she marched towards Kimberly with a fire in her eyes that only a mama bear has. Incoming! Nola interrupted the conversation. Lieutenant Craig is hot about something. Heather Craig stopped and came to attention behind Kimberly. Captain Jackson, I request a private meeting with you to discuss a personal matter. I would be glad to, but I'm not in your chain of command. But your SOG is, she replied. And is it something I did you take exception with? Something we both did, ma'am. Kimberly held up a finger and thought for several seconds. Your daughter. Yes, ma'am. I excluded her because you were re-enlisting. Yes, ma'am. Permission to speak freely. No need. Kimberly stood up and faced her. Why do you want her in the SOG? As a Marine, I can say she has a lot to offer. As a mother, I see the bonding in the SOG members. They are becoming a tight family. I want that for my daughter, and I will pay the price to have that for her. How? Whatever it takes. If I have to resign, I will. If I have to fight you, I will. If I have to take a dishonorable discharge, I will. Name the cost. Kimberly stayed at the mother before her and realized that to this woman, motherhood was more important than anything else in her life. You just paid it. You taught me the importance of being a mother. Thank you. General Marquis, permission to break protocol. Sampson was surprised that Kimberly asked permission. Kimberly asked. Permission granted. Kimberly quickly grabbed Marine Lieutenant Heather Craig and hugged. I hope I will be a mama bear like you. When she tried to break the hug, and then she tried to break the hug, but Heather was hugging her back hard. We need to stop. When they separated, they both had wet eyes. Heather saluted, and Kimberly returned it. Kimberly pulled out her sat phone and handed it to Heather. Get her coming. Then Kimberly grabbed Michael and kissed him. In 5 years, you're getting me pregnant. Okay, he responded in surprise. Others in earshot raised eyebrows at her open frankness in public. So between now and then, we need to kill all of these sick shit-eating sons of bitches, she said loudly. Hoorah! The Marines shouted. Uh, 123. Sorry, I missed it. Sorry, missed your comment there. Here they come, Phoenix hollered as she ran from the door back to her rack. Michael had arrived a little early with the other children of the 5 Cedar City families that Kimberly had asked to talk to the SOG. Lois Bennett, age 21, Sarah Mann, age 20, Alina Charles, age 19, Corey Farrell, age 21, Calvin Tobin, age 19, and had him standing off to the side in the back by the showers and heard. Hang on. Across the front wall of the bay, across the front wall of the bay, at Parade Rest. Hang on, do I got 2 in there? Yeah, I got 2 in there, spaces in there. Stood Army Captain Mark Chapman, Army Lieutenant Linda Chapman, Army First Sergeant Gwen Judd, Marine Master Sergeant Mickey Potter, Marine Staff Sergeant Lynette Cole, Marine Staff Sergeant Drake Umber, ROTC DIs Army Master Sergeant Conrad Grimes, Marine Gunnery Sergeant David Patterson, Marine Staff Sergeant Connie Patterson, and Laurel Patterson. Kimberly spoke. Sog, hang on. Hang on. So I'm just doing a quick glance over it to make sure I'm got it right. There. SOG, this is SOG candidate Betsy Bennett and her father, Army Captain Roger Bennett, his wife, Marine Lieutenant Sandra Bennett. SOG candidate Tori Mann and her father, Lawrence Mann, and his wife, Army Staff Sergeant Julie Mann. SOG candidate Lena Charles and her father, Warrant Officer 3, Evans Charles, Army Corps of Engineers, and his wife, Eunice Charles. SOG candidate Candy Tobin and her father, Army Lieutenant Manny Tobin, and his wife, Lana Tobin, and their other children, Paul and Sam. ROTC cadet Laura Patterson and her mother, Marine Staff Sergeant Connie Patterson. Laurel, go ahead and get your assigned position. And get your assigned position. Also here are our Air Force PJ Major Eric Holmes and his wife, Alicia Holmes, and their daughter. And their daughter joined you yesterday. Army Captain Henry Farrell and his wife, Army Captain Claire Farrell, are here for another reason. Kimberly, step forward. I asked them here because unlike your parents who were at the meetings in Fredonia and Kanab, they have not heard the full account of the door opened and in stepped Marine Lieutenant Heather Craig and her daughter, Sophie Craig, carrying a duffel bag, followed by Kanab Police Officer Mitch Craig. Ah, you got a police escort, I see, Kimberly smiled. Lance Corporal Holland, show recruit Craig to Iraq. Aye, aye, Captain, Jenny shouted. This way, recruit, step lively, move it. Move quickly and follow Jenny to Iraq. Put your duffel bag on that footlocker and follow in. Jenny barked as soon as Sophie got to Iraq. And as soon as she was up in line, Jenny started to return to her position when Kimberly held up a finger. Recruit Bennett, fall in. This way, recruit, step lively. Move it. Jenny stepped up to the rack where Betsy was assigned. Right here, recruit, she pointed to a spot on the floor. Top rack is yours. Recruit Man T, fall in. This way, recruit, faster, move it. Jenny stepped up to the rack where Tori was assigned. Right here, recruit, she pointed to the spot on the floor. Bottom rack is yours. Recruit Tobin C, fall in. This way, recruit, step lively, move it. Jenny stepped up to the rack where right here, recruit, she pointed at the floor spot on the floor. Top rack is yours. Kimberly looked at Eunice Child and signaled thumbs up, then thumbs down. Eunice held her hand out with thumbs down. Kimberly nodded and continued. Before I pick up where I was, I want you all to know I've been assembling the best trainers I could for you that I could find. I have ROTC DIs, Master Sergeant Conrad Grimes and Marine Gunnery Sergeant David Patterson. I have assigned ROTC DIs, Master Gunnery Sergeant Grimes and Master Gunnery Sergeant David Patterson to the SOG training staff. If they are still here when it is time for your medical training, I hope that the archangels of the battlefield will oversee it. I hope we are, Major Holmes said with a chuckle. One reason I want you to have this group of trainers is I don't know everything, and sometimes I will make a mistake. I shouldn't have excluded Recruit Craig because her mother was re-enlisting. I apologize, Recruit Craig, Kimberly said. Thank you, Lieutenant, for being a mama bear. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. A full account of the SOG's requirements and training. The Saga is mainly 16 is SOG training is mainly 16 and 17-year-olds, and there are some aberrations. There are more than the original 5 or 6 planned for. If you are older or younger than 16 or 17, take a step forward. 21, step forward. Besides the original 6, 15 have joined from the ROTC. The oldest being Easton Patrick at 20. She took another step forward. The rest being 18 or 19. She took a breath. The biggest aberration is Lance Corporal Holland, age 24. Step back. Hang on, let me get some water here. Basic Marine Corps boot camp is 13 weeks. Our boot camp is 16 weeks. While Army is 10 and Navy 9. After that, we move to intermediate training for 8 months. This includes School of Infantry and other basic advancement training. A lot of PT and book work, especially for those that haven't finished high school. That ends the first year. Those that pass will be placed in stage 1 advanced training. Those that don't pass intermediate training will be given the opportunity of retraining the failed parts or transferring to a regular MOS. Stage 1 advanced training is 6 months. It is medical training plus continuing PT. Those that pass will be placed in stage 2 advanced training, which is 5.5 months of SEER training. Those that pass SEER training will be placed in stage 3 advanced training, which is 4 months with lots of math, geometry, and trigonometry. It is sniper school and forward observer training. After that is ninja assassin training, but only for the top 2%. Those that have not graduated high school will continue in their schooling in their free time. Courses of importance are English, history, mathematics, geometry, trigonometry, chemistry, biology, and physics. Other fun facts. In 4 weeks, you'll be running 10 miles every morning. Within 6 weeks, you'll do that with a 50-pound pack. By 8 weeks, you'll also be having an additional 30 pounds of personal gear and body armor. Push-ups, pull-ups, rope climbs, sit-ups, upside-down squats, log carries, tire drags, and more. We will hammer and beat your bodies into what you need them to be to protect your families. That's biological and military families. Excuse me. The primary objective is deleting the enemy without them knowing we are there until it's too late for them to do anything about it, and we are already leaving. Hope and a half away or more away, Kimberly said. She noticed some of the wicked smiles from some of the Marine cadets. Other times we'll be doing ninja close quarters killing, more smiles, and even some close quarter rescues of prisoners. For these types of operations, we'll be using 10mm pistols. She tapped hers with suppressors and 10mm carbines with suppressors. Even compound bows. Hang on, I got to correct this. Even compound bows, crossbows, and blade weapons. We will master and use conventional and unconventional warfare to eliminate these threats to our families. Turning to the parents, yes, this barracks is co-ed, but she snapped her fingers. The showers and heads are not, the recruits shouted. Sex is forbidden, they shouted, except for married couples. Who is married? DIs are shouted. Recruits Snyder and Williamson are engaged. Are they allowed to have sex anymore? No, not until they are married. Recruits Spencer and Gallo are engaged. Are they allowed to have sex anymore? No, not until they are married. Captain Morris and Jackson are engaged. Are they allowed to have first sex? No. Abigail added loudly, not for 2 weeks, 6 days. Barring any inconvenient interruptions to plans, Commander Smythe said from the doorway. The vice president says, barring any inconvenient interruptions to plans, Commander Smythe said from the doorway, the vice president says he will try to make it to officiate, but can't guarantee it. Gasps rippled through the bay. That would have been so cool, Kimberly muttered. Then she spoke louder. Anyways, there is a slight proviso to the no sex law. Murmurs rippled through the parents and DIs. Anyone who can do 30 two-handed, one-finger push-ups in full gear can have sex for 30 days with any one consenting person. Not a sound came from the recruits, but several of their faces were now set in grim determination. The ROTC did not get asked this question, so it gets asked now. Who is currently having sex? About half the ROTC cadets step forward. With someone on the base, all but 4 step back. I learned that some of you might be trying to play lawyer and try to squeeze by on what you think is a loophole. So let me clarify. If I find out that you lied to me and you will be dishonorably discharged. Is that clear? Kimberly shouted the last. Sir, yes, sir, shouted the SOG. Who is having any type of sex with anyone who is on this base, i.e. Camp Resurrection, anytime within the last 6 months up to and including anytime today, whether or not you have just decided to stop. 4 more recruits, ROTC cadets step forward. Thank you for being honest, but the sex stops right now, or you'll have to drop out of my SOG. I don't know if you can hear me. I got to fix the screen here. I didn't notice that everything had locked up here till just now. Camera. There, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. So I'm not sure when it stopped. If someone can remember what it stopped on, what I was saying as I was looking at this screen, because it had over in the far corner up over here, it had the it had a little notice saying that I had lost communication with the camera and microphone. All right. Okay, so Nate swallowed hard. Isn't she the coolest? Lena said to her mother. I want to be just like her and be a virgin when I get married. Kimberly stopped in her tracks and glanced over at continued. Some of you are wondering if it's even possible to do 30 two-handed one-finger push-ups. She bent down and put both hands on the floor and slowly lifted her legs up till she was in a handstand. Then she lifted her right hand up and put one finger back on the floor. Then she lifted the left hand off and began doing one-handed, one-finger push-ups. When she had completed 35, she lowered her legs down and stood up. Back in line, she told the 8 and looked around the room and pointed to everyone. She said, you can do amazing things if you put your mind and heart into it. And even more with the support of friends and family. Mom, Lena asked quietly. No verbal response from Eunice. She was chewing on her lip. Mom, Lena said a little bit louder. Still no change from Eunice. You don't trust me, Lena said in shock and a hurt tone. You don't believe in me, she said as she stepped back away from her mother with very shocked and hurt look in her eyes. Baby, no, I am not a baby anymore. You always give Elaine more freedom than me. You let her skip grades but held me back even though I had better grades. She could go out for sports, but no, not me. I can't take up archery, cross country running, skiing, or anything because I might get hurt. Hang on, I want to highlight that with the bold, because I might get hurt. Well, congratulations, Mom. You finally did it. You chased me off. Baby, I have to protect you. No, Mom, you don't protect her. You smother her. Hang on, I want to double check something here. That is Elaine. Shoot. I think it's Charles is the last name. Let me check. I need to check something here real quick here. Bring up the data on it. Elaine Charles, 15. Yeah, she's under the 16 free pass age thing. Everything she said is true. Dad, do what's right. It only requires one parent's name on the form. Elaine Charles said from the back of the room. Damn. Come on, I gotta get this to save. Maybe it'll keep some of the changes this time. Stop, Abigail shouted. Don't do this, Lena. She's your only mom. You don't get another. She stormed to the front of the bay, passing Kimberly. I lost my mom when I was 4 months old. Don't turn yours away. She just doesn't know how to love you the right way. Dear, give her the freedom to go and come back. Charles Evan finally spoke up, but give her freedom. He looked down at his wife, or you'll lose her forever. If you chase Lena away, then you may lose your other daughter too. Then what will you do? You won't get invited to their weddings or see your grandchildren get married, Abigail sighed, just because you don't want to let go. Abigail lowered her head and walked away. Thank you for trying, Lena said. Elaine marched from the back to her mother. She's right. I will stick with Lena if you chase her away. She's my baby. No, she's not. She's a young woman and a proud one at that. Free her or smother her and kill her. One way she will come back. Lena took a deep breath. The other way, you lose her forever, me too. Marine Lieutenant Sandra Bennett stepped up to Eunice and rested a hand on her shoulder and spoke up. Sandra, hang on a second here. Dang it, it's not second. I thought I fixed that already. All right, let me go back in here. Bennett. Betsy Bennett is 6. I'm trying to match the names up here, get it right here. Do it this way here. Control C, Control F, Control V, Bennett. Find next. Okay, Bennett, Grayson Bennett, Betsy Bennett, Lois Bennett. Okay, so it is Betsy. B-E-T-T. Or did I spell that wrong? Let me get back over here. B-E-T-T. TTSY. And let me do a search here. Control F. 7 results. Okay. Let me see if I take that 1. No, okay. So that is spelled correctly here. Okay. Betsy is my youngest. It's hard to let them go. I know but it's also worth it to see them shine. Our Army Staff Sergeant Julie Mann moved closer. When Sarah went off to college, it was hard. It left me with just Tori. Now Tori wants to be a Marine. I'm Army. It hit me twice. My baby is leaving and becoming a Marine. But do you know what makes it better? I get to see her around base. I can go on training runs. Well, partway until I build my endurance back up. Several of the parents chuckled in agreement. I can see her at meals, not talk to her, but see her. During her free time, if she's up on her training and book work, she can swing by for a quick chat. On Saturday night, if she can get the DI's permission, she can spend the night with us. She leaned closer. Lena can do the same if you don't chase her away. Marine Staff Sergeant Connie Patterson spoke up from the back. Laurel is my baby. She went off to college. When she went off to college, hang on, it scared me so much. She's the youngest ROTC cadet ever at SUU. She won't be 17 until next August. And she was leaving home to go to college where practically no one was going to be looking out for her except for the ROTC. She's been watching the real-life Juby Chan Ninja Girl videos for 3 years. Juby was Laurel's hero, and now she gets to train with her. Wait, comma. And now she gets to train with her? It turns out that Juby is Captain Jackson. That is a dream come true for both mother and daughter. I am so much more relaxed with her training with Captain Jackson than when she was in ROTC meetings and drills, and her dad was her DI. More chuckles. Sorry, dear. Marine Lieutenant Heather Craig said, you know my feelings. I was willing to fight Juby Chan to get Sophie in here. Commander Nora Smythe stepped forward from the door, passing the parents and turning and looking at the Charleses. Who are you? Evan Charles asked. Michael stepped up beside Nora. May I present her grace, Eleanor. Nora quickly held up her hand. Silencing Michael. I am going through a similar story of a parent smothering their child and the life-shattering effects of their actions. Nora gave a heavy sigh. I am Eleanor Mary Elizabeth Smythe, third child and second daughter of Duke Anthony Robert Smythe and Lady Jessica Margaret Windsor Smythe. My mother is a fourth cousin of King Arthur Philip George and his wife Elizabeth Coburg of Kent. I am fifth and favorite cousin to their son, Prince Edward of Wales. She gave a deep sigh. I was a rather unruly teenager and joked to my mother that I'd rather join the Navy than become a solicitor of the crown as my father wanted. As he had pressured me towards from my youngest memories. As I graduated secondary school, the equivalent of your high school, as I graduated early on my 16th birthday, my mom took me to the Admiralty and I was commissioned as a sub-lieutenant. My father tricked my mother into signing the permission form. I told her not to argue the point with him, as he was a stubborn and sometimes petty man. Nora paused and took a breath and continued. Over the next 5 years, I received 3 promotions, which I believe Edward had a hand in, but he claims otherwise. 1 month after I made commander, I was killed with several other officers in an explosion and fire on the aircraft carrier Prince Richard when a fuel line was improperly attached to a Harrier and came loose. Rumors have it that I was not killed, but just received minor burns and was given a new face via plastic surgery and transferred to MI6. Rumors are not always completely true. She reached up and took off her mask, exposing the fake latex burn flesh mask that Corey made for her. Gasps came from all, even a few gags. Kimberly's eyes bugged out at Nora's stunt. Nora slowly reattached her black mask. In the years since the fire, I've served king and country on many missions, including this one, Operation Shared Strength, where I met Michael and Kimberly. In all these years, I've never seen my father nor spoke with him, nor will I until he apologizes for trying to force me to become what he wanted. If he had been more honest and loving and not smothering, I might not have joined the Admiralty. Or if I had, I might have chosen a different path within it, a desk job, or perhaps as a solicitor. She breathed heavily. That is my story because of a smothering parent. But now I would like to share another story closer to you and your daughter. Nora looked towards the door. Monica, please come here. Monica stepped past the DIs and stood next to Commander Smythe. Monica's husband was a Marine major. About 2.5 years ago, you received harsh news. What was it? I was informed that my James was killed on deployment. How many children do you have? Our first pregnancy ended in a miscarriage. Our second gave us a daughter. Your daughter, what was her goal in life? To be a Marine like her doting father. What did you do after the news of James's death? I made her promise not to be a Marine because I couldn't live if she died too. 1.5 months ago, what happened? She bumped into this boy that she said she'd been eyeing for 3 years and actually talked to him for the first time. And she fell head over heels in love with him, but I didn't believe her or didn't want to believe her because it meant that I would lose her anyways. At least that's what I thought it meant. What happened the next day? She proposed to him and he accepted. Monica sniffed. I didn't have any faith in my daughter's wisdom. Did you know that CIA agent Robert Clarkson and I had recruited her for a clandestine operation that would place her in the Marine Corps? No, damn you. Thank you. Kimberly chuckled slightly, as did several others that caught the sentiment. What else happened? While they were doing civilian firearms training, a fan of her martial arts recognized her and asked her for her autograph, which got several other girls asking, and the whole thing blew up. Monica smiled and shook her head slightly. A couple weeks after that, she had what I believe was one of her proudest moments during a conference call with government and military leaders. It was for me. She took a deep breath. Because of the way the CIA brought her into the Marine Corps, neither her fiance or her were ever sworn in as Marines. Her fiance didn't like the political BS that the CIA had caused in their lives. When her fiance found out that they weren't actually Marines, he played the get out of jail free card to get out of the mess. And several generals who were on the conference call protested to the president, who was also on the call, and demanded that he swear them in properly, which he did. I've never seen her so proud. I realized that my demand that she not be a Marine to honor her father was wrong. She needed to live her life her way. It was because she was a CIA operative that she was participating in this conference call, in the conference calls, correct? Yes. Would you find out on a conference call earlier that day that my James wasn't killed, but was taken prisoner by the Taliban, and he had escaped on the 20th and was being assigned back to the new Marine Corps base in Idaho. Hang on, I got to check some out because I think I messed up on the state here. So let me double check some. Escaped on the Control F. All right. Yes, I knew it was wrong. On the 18th, I escaped on the 18th. I was being assigned to the new Marine base in Idaho. What else happened? Her fiance got General Donaldson to agree for James to come here with a big supply drop in a few weeks. Would you have found this out if she weren't inserted into Marines as a CIA operative? No. They wouldn't have known where we were or how to find us. Now her father gets to walk her down the aisle. How do you feel about her being a Marine now? Monica turned to Kimberly and threw her arms around her. Oh, baby girl, I'm so proud of you and what you're doing, saving all those people and rescuing the girls from heaven's devils. Training these young men and women to be like you and Michael. Still hugging Kimberly. Monica looked at Michael. Michael, you're the best thing that has ever happened to my baby. I'm so proudly of the two of you. What? Stammered Eunice. She's your daughter? Yes, and I almost ruined everything with my demands. Hang on here. COMMANDSMY. 1, 2, 3, 4. Commander Smythe, Nora, slowly stepped away and headed towards the door. Oh, Eunice said. Eleanor, Monica called out when she saw Nora making for the door. Thank you for recruiting them behind my back and introducing them, she said, keeping their cover story intact. And thank you for agreeing to be my maid of honor, Kimberly added. Elaine Charles spoke up. Mom, can you see that you need to let Leanna do what she wants if you want to keep her? Be the good mother, Evans whispered to her. With tears streaming down her face, Eunice slowly spoke. I'm sorry for smothering you. You have my permission to join. Lena charged her mother and threw her arms around her. Thank you, Mom. I will make you proud. All right, you get to keep your mother and become a Marine, Abigail shouted. Sure shot. Hang on, I want to put this in bold. Give me 20 for breaking rounds. Aye, aye, sis. Make it 50. And the DI snickered to themselves. Aye, aye, Captain, Abigail practically sang as she pumped hard and fast doing her push-ups. We have 2 more points of SOG business to handle this evening, Michael said. Our 5 ROTC guests. Captain Jackson has a question for you. But first, rank, name, and age. Army Cadet, Staff Sergeant Elaine Charles, 19. I would like to join. Army Cadet Staff Sergeant Calvin Tobin, 19, I would like to join. Army Cadet Staff Sergeant Sarah Mann, 20, I would like to join. Army Cadet Master Sergeant Lois Bennett, I would like to join. 21, I would like to join. Army Cadet Staff Sergeant Roy Farrell, 21. I'm going to go with the regular recruits. You all are over survive your training. Army Cadet Master Sergeant Roy Farrell, come up here with your parents, Michael said. Mental attitude is a big part of completing this course, Master Sergeant Cadet Master Sergeant Rory Farrell. Master Sergeant Grimes said, I have a feeling ROTC will seem like a picnic compared to this course. Sog, these 4 are aberrations. I'm going to let you vote on letting them in, Kimberly said, stated. Aye for all, Abigail shouted, still doing push-ups. Aye for all, the rest shouted. Any nays? Kimberly asked. Silence replied to her question. Lance Corporal, assign them their racks. Aye, aye, Captain. And Jenny called them out and assigned them the racks and foot lockers. Now we have another group to address, Kimberly said. Ladies, if you'd step out into view. 6 teenagers who look much better than when Kimberly first met them stepped into view from the shower and head entrance. I'm offering a place to rebuild their lives with us, but first I'm going to ask 2 of you to tell them your story and why you and your mother enlisted. Cindy Bowman and Jean Bowman stepped forward and turned to the 6. I am Cindy Bowman. I'm 16. My father raped me for the last couple of years. He said it was to teach me how to please whoever my husband would be and to be a good wife. Gasps came from all that did not know the story. I'm Jean Bowman. I'm 11. My father raped me for the last couple of months and said the same thing to me. We stabbed him to death when Juby Chan knocked him down when he was beating us and our mother in public. Cindy spoke again. Juby Chan, Captain Jackson has given us a new home and a family that are helping us to heal and rebuild our lives here. Build our lives. Here, she gestured around, we feel true love and support. And Sure Shot has become our best sister friend. Sure Shot is teaching me to be her spotter on her sniper team. Captain Jackson says I will train for 5 years, and a lot of that will be schoolwork, but it is worth that to be a Marine like her. They turned around and saluted Kimberly. Cindy spoke again, and thank you, DIs, for not babying or pampering us and for the support you have shown us. We will not let you down. Cindy and Jean stepped back into line. Lance Corporal Holland stepped forward quickly. With your permission, Captain. Permission granted, Kimberly said. My father raped me for several years. I ran away and was swept up by a gang that was collecting white girls for sex trafficking. We were rescued by Heaven's devils, and I was one of several chosen to remain with them. I was given to a member as his property. He was nicer to me than my father had been because he didn't rape me when he didn't rape me. And when I turned 18, he released me so I could join the Marines. I was a staff sergeant when Major Jackson was captured and presumed dead. On October 13th, I went AWOL to rescue my sister who was living alone after our aunt who she was living with died. I found her and joined up with the Heaven Devils thinking that my time with them would protect us. It didn't. On the 25th, we were rescued by Juby Chan and Archer. I was busted to recruit for going AWOL and was told I was going to be in boot camp for the next 9 months. I got off very easy, and I'm proud, and I'm happy to be here, earning back my honor. Jenny stepped back. Recruit Alicia Holland stepped forward. With your permission, Captain. Permission granted, Kimberly said. My father had been raping me for a couple months when Jenny ran away. Because of that, the police found kiddie porn on his computer and arrested him. My mother became a drug addict and died a year ago. I had 10 great parents. Our SOG leadership. They give me tough love, real love. Hoorah, the SOG shouted. Alicia stepped back. Heather James spoke. We were also raped, but by heaven's devils. We were captured in Las Vegas. She continued the story that she told Kimberly and Linda Chapman when they rescued them. The others agreed, and their parts. The others agreed, and their parts of the story unfolded. Juby Chan and Lieutenant Chapman freed us. We need to be heroes like them, not victims. We were talking about the requirements, and we all agreed this is what we need. Please let us join you. Abigail opened her mouth, and Kimberly shouted, not open for a vote, sure shot. At least not by SOG members. Kimberly turned to the DIs. Linda said. Mark Chapman said. Hang on. The DIs all said aye. I know I'm not SOG staff, but since my daughter's a recruit, I say aye, Marine Lieutenant Sandra Bennett said. I said the rest of the parents softly. Kimberly turned back to the SOG. Lance Corporal, assign them their racks. Ladies, you'll find some gear to get you through tomorrow in your foot lockers. You'll be issued full gear tomorrow. Jenny called out names and pointed to the last 3 sets of racks and assigned them as designated. This left 1 rack empty in the bay. That makes 120 SOG recruits. Recruit 121 is still in the hospital and will join you when released. The SOG is closed, Kimberly shouted. Showers will be lukewarm. Men's faces must be shaved. Stay on your side. Stay on your side. We better get the wood-fired water heaters installed before it gets much colder, Michael said to Kimberly. Gunnery Sergeant Patterson, Master Sergeant Grimes. When they built the DI hut across the way, they put Michael's and my names on 2 of the rooms. I would prefer that you use them. Each one has a rack, a desk, a small bookshelf, locker, closet, shower, toilet, full-length mirror, and folding table. Kimberly's face scrunched up and thought. What you thinking about, babe? Michael asked. Recruit Bennett L. Recruit Bennett L. Yes, just 1 semester to go, Gunnery Sergeant Patterson said. I heard. I feel sorry for her. What can we do? Kimberly asked. We can finish doing our part, Gunnery Sergeant Patterson said. We grabbed all the training manuals, including tests. General Marquez can commission her. Master Sergeant Grimes added. So I got to add him upon. completing the course. But as Army or Marine, her choice. Good, Sandra Bennett said. Hang on. Got to add something in here. Military. Marines. Sorry, I'm looking up names here. Yeah, Sandra is a lieutenant. Okay. Yep, that's the way I do it. Let's have to make sure. Lieutenant. Lieutenant Sandra Bennett said, when she heard the Marines were starting up an ROTC program, she looked into the transfer, but she said she'd have to do another semester. We'll make sure she picks those up so she can choose which she wants to go with, Master Sergeant Grimes said. The same for those in the regular recruits. OTS for recruits is something for General Marquest and the colonels to tackle. I think by the end of the first year, those ROTs, those at the end of the first year, those ROTC cadets of Staff Sergeant or Master Sergeant can test out. But like the others, promotion dates are when they earn them, as long as they are trained in the SOG. Enlisted ranks are all they get to wear. At 2 years, they can wear their officer rank, but that'll keep them bonded. That will keep them bonded with everyone else, Kimberly said. I agree, Captain Chapman said. In some courses, you lose your rank during training. They all nodded in agreement. Kimberly rubbed her temples. What did I create? She said softly. The Marine Corps' first true Tier 1 school, Linda said, and then laughed. Now you're a mama to 121 recruits. Kimberly looked heavenwards. I said I was sorry for being a pain to my mom. I said the same thing, and you still whine when you want, Monica said. Everyone laughed, and Michael and then Monica put an arm around her and gave her a hug. Okay, we have done 2.5 hours here. Let me check. I'm going to do some quick checking here. So this is at 4:20. Hang on. I'm going to do the 2 pages here, or page here. Page and the fourth is just 1 page. So I'm going to do a couple of these here, see how these work out here. So yeah, we got a half an hour. I can do it. November 4th, Tuesday. The logistic combat element and 24 of the former 4th Con went to Flagstaff and got all the metal roofing they could find. Then they hit the window wholesalers. By the time they returned, the first gym was being roofed and the floor for the second gym was being framed. Both of these gyms also had classrooms. A smaller gym for officers and family members was having the foundation piers set. Benjamin, Monica, Susan, Bob Miller, and Harvey Judd, Val Jensen, and Major Martin Cooper with 4 Humvees, 4 a LAV 25, and a Cougar went to St. George, Utah. They had all 4 F-650 trail haulers. Hang on. I got to fix this here. with the one trailer and both of the 40-foot power tilt trailers. All right. Hang on a second here. I got to look something up here. Control C. No, Control F. 3 results. Okay. Okay, so they did pick up a second one. Okay. Let's see if this is, go ahead and undo. Yeah, okay. So they do have 2 of the 36 footers because they picked up a second one. Because Michael got the first one in book 1. All right. Susan's third call hauler trailers and one of the power trailers, blah, blah, yeah. The 550 with the automatic safety hitch system and gooseneck 30-foot toy hauler and the captured F750 crew cab, fifth wheel semi pulling the other 40 40-foot power trip trailer. Okay, there we go. Benjamin found a company that had commercial hydrogen generation plants that would produce 3 gallons per hour of hydrogen, complete with an adjustable pump capable of 1500 psi. Odorizer units, 750 kW Watkinson natural gas turbine sets, and a 25 kilowatt natural gas turbine sets, with the parts to convert the turbines to run on hydrogen. They got 3 of everything and extra parts. The company had several 1,000 and 2,000 and 3,000 gallon tanks rated for 5,000 PSIG. Benjamin ordered them all to be delivered. When they stopped at a couple of solar contractors and picked up 1,548 volt solar panels and 648 volt lithium iron phosphate batteries and several 400 amp charge controllers, inverters, and breaker panels. Benjamin Susan had taken a race car hauler back to the cabin. It had one of the commercial hydrogen generator plants, 1 odorizer, and 2 of the 25 kilowatt natural gas turbine generator set. 100 of the 48 volt solar panels and 100 of the lithium iron phosphate batteries. Martin Cooper made a return trip with 2 LVSRs with lowboys and 3 of the MTVR 16.5 ton load handling system 8x8s and escorts to get 2 1,500 watt Saga natural gas turbine generator sets and a 15 gallon per hour hydrogen generation plant. Then they got over 2,500 48 volt solar panels and 1,248 lithium iron phosphate batteries. The owner said if they had another truck, they could have what was left. Martin got on his phone and said another detail might be in town tomorrow, and he would give him a call. Okay. So we're starting at 23 here, and let me see where I'm up here. 24, 25. Okay, hang on. I'm going to drop down here. So the fifth is at from 26 to 41. And 25 through. All right, so we're going to. Hang on here. Did I skip something? I skipped some. I missed one, guys. Somehow I missed one here. Yes, I did. I missed that one. Yes. All right, so let's catch up with this one. So I jumped around. I missed this one. I went from the first to the fourth. Bay was getting crowded with everyone doing PT and Mr. Gallo working on a truck every day. Michael suggested that some smaller gyms be built. General Marquis agreed, and after word got out that they were willing to pay workers to help build the camp in both cash and food, they had more people coming to help with building and earning a few extra bucks, in some cases, some food. Bob Miller and Benjamin and a couple others started drawing up plans for the new gyms and other buildings. Susan, Monica, and 4 Humvees that Larry set to escort him up rolled out at 0530 for Flagstaff. They pulled into town and stopped at the trailer supply store that they bought trailer for. The four-axle dually gooseneck dump trailer that Janet wanted was still there. As they got out and started towards the trailer, they spotted 2 salesmen making a beeline for them. They were about halfway to them when a high-pitched whistle cut the air, followed by Susan, Monica. The 2 salesmen stopped dead in their tracks as a man in his early 20s came out of the office. Zachary, Susan and Monica shouted back. Zachary called out as he jogged over to him. What can I do for you today? And they all pointed to the trailer. What sort of deal can you get us today? Janet asked. Well, the boss just knocked $2,500 off the price. Get him to make $300. Get him to make it $3K, and we'll take it. I'll go see. 20 minutes later, Janet was towing it behind her as they headed to the county building. 2.5 hours later, Janet was leaving leaving the county assessor's office with the titles to 6 properties that surrounded the cabin property and 2 sections of cattle land. Each section was 640 acres. Then Janet and Monica were while Janet and Monica were getting a couple large pieces for themselves. No, while Susan and Monica were getting a couple large pieces of acreage for themselves, Janet picked up 4 more sections that didn't sell at auction when the county wanted to be rid of them. She put each one into its own land trust, which was controlled by another LLC, which is owned by a family bank trust. 2 of these were for Michael and 1 was for Abigail. From the county assayer, they went to the Coyote dealership, and Janet bought 3 LT 750 track loaders at 74 horsepower. They were slightly smaller than the Bobcat loaders, but they also use less fuel, and they could save the big ones for the really heavy jobs. She also bought 2 Coyote HX 1402 tractors. It was Coyote's largest with hydrostatic transmissions and 140 horsepower engine. It also had the 7-pin trailer electrical hookup so they could tow the big trailers and have working lights. She got the forks, hay balers, bucket, rock bucket, grappler, 3-point adapter for the front quick change attachment. The front quick change attachment also meant they could use all the attachments for the track loaders, and the 3-point adapter means that tractors could use some of the tractor rear attachments on the front too. The equipment was bought under another LLC. Yeah, okay, so I read this one here. Wednesday. Okay, so we're going to so this starts at all right, so I'm going from 422 to yeah, so we're just going to stop here, and this will be where we'll pick up tomorrow. And we'll pick it up here for tomorrow. And I want to make sure. And let me check one thing over here on the other computer here real quick while I can. Make sure I'm doing this right. Hang on. Dang it. Part 2. Yeah, that is working right. Okay, that is right where it needs to be. Okay. All right, yes, so this is where we're going to end up at, right there. And yeah, so, okay, so today is Wednesday, nothing tonight. Tomorrow we'll start at the same time, 2 o'clock Eastern time or 12 Mountain time, as we pick up with Chapter 10, Part 2. Tomorrow night for the midnight ride, since tomorrow is the city council meeting and I got to be there, I already scheduled it for a half hour later than normal. So it's scheduled for 10:30 Eastern time, PM, for the midnight ride. And we will be there. Today I stopped at the at City Hall, talked with the city clerk and the maintenance chief, and we covered several things. And so it may get a little tomorrow, but I think we got a plan in place to make the meeting last a little bit shorter and put the troublemaker in his place tomorrow. So well, hopefully that'll work there. All right, everyone. With that, we're going to wrap it up here, and I will see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern time.